I left my heart at the stage door canteen.
This cute story of Army life romance by Don Cornell.
I left my heart at the stage door canteen. I left it there with a girl named Eileen. I kept her serving donuts till all she had were gone. I sat there dunking donuts till she caught on. I must go back to the Army routine. And every doughboy knows what that will mean. A soldier boy without a heart has two strikes on him from the start. And my heart's at the stage door canteen.
Good evening and welcome to the week ending October 24th, 1942. My name is Henry Chap and I'm your host. Tonight we are going to listen to the story behind the headlines, the Jack Benny program, Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy, the Screen Guild Theater production of Yankee Doodle Dandy with James Cagney, and Gangbusters. It all begins in just a little bit. If you love the World War II era, consider following us on Patreon. You not only support this channel, but you will get daily posts of pop culture and a daily newspaper in chronological order. It's neat to follow the war as your parents, grandparents, or even your great-grandparents have followed it. Check us out with a 1-week free trial. A link is in the comments to this video. We are going to start things off tonight with some news commentary on a program called The Story Behind the Headlines with Caesar Searchinger. Tonight's topic is What's Happening on Guadalcanal. The program is from October 18th, 1942. Following the story behind the headlines, it's time for some laughs with the Jack Benny program, also from October 18th, 1942. In this episode, Jack donates his Maxwell to the scrap drive. Following Jack Benny, we will listen to Jack Armstrong, the All All-American Boy from October 20th, 1942. Well, the tubes are warming up on this old tube radio. That's our time machine. Let's give this stuff a listen.
The story behind the headlines. In cooperation with the American Historical Association, we again present Caesar Searchinger, noted foreign correspondent and writer, in an informal analysis of the news. Mr. Searchinger retraces the events of the past to help you in arriving at a fuller understanding of what is happening today. Mr. Searchinger's subject tonight is what's happening on Guadalcanal. Mr. Searchinger.
Good evening. It looks as though Guadalcanal were to become a historic name. Ever since the U.S. Marines landed on this jungle-clad island in the Southern Solomons Group early last August, it has been singled out for special attention by our enemies. It now promises to become the center of a major operation which may determine the course of the Pacific War. After weeks of preliminary attempts and setbacks on land, on sea, and in the air, the Japanese sent a fleet to the north of Guadalcanal, which heavily bombarded our airfield and marine installations during the night from Tuesday to Wednesday this week. On Thursday, they were landing fairly large contingents of troops under the cover of their guns to the west of the territory held by our men. It now looks as though this is part of a full-scale offensive with the purpose of driving us out. During a previous attempt to land troops last Sunday night and Monday, the Japanese are said to have lost a heavy cruiser, 4 destroyers, and a transport. 3 further cruisers and several other vessels hit tonight by U.S. Army bombers may also be lost. This brings their losses in this area up to well over 40 ships in the last 2 months, an investment which the Japs have evidently not made just for the sake of saving face. The landing of the U.S. Marines on the Solomon Islands on August 7 to 8 was the first offensive action of the United Nations in the Pacific and the first reconquest of enemy-held territory. The importance of this southern outpost of Japanese power is only beginning now to be generally understood. By the capture of Tulagi, parts of Guadalcanal, and other islands, we have established an outpost well in advance of our defense line, running all the way from Alaska to Australia. The cost of this outpost to us in terms of naval losses was high, as the Navy disclosed only this week, over 2 months after the event. For in the operations covering our landings, we lost no less than 4 U.S. cruisers, besides the cruiser Canberra, pride of the Australian Navy, the loss of which was announced at the time. These ships were standing by, screening the landing operations of the U.S. Marines on Guadalcanal, Tulagi, and 5 other tiny islands. They were attacked by a swift-moving column of Japanese ships, sweeping round Savo Island, 8 miles offshore, firing as they went. But it was a hit-and-run affair. The Jap ships disappeared as quickly as they came, and never really got within range of our transports and landing barges. The landing operations were completed within 48 hours, and by the 4th day, August 10th, the Marines had overcome all opposition on Tulagi and the small neighboring islands. On Guadalcanal, a much larger island, about the size of Long Island, lying some 20-odd miles further south, the problem was more complicated. The Marines took possession of a small grassy plain on the north coast, where the Japs had been building an airfield. It would be about the only possible airfield in the southern Solomons, which are steeply mountainous. Together with Tulagi Harbor, across only 22 miles of water, it would make a strong naval and air base, dominating the whole region. It would have been the terminal stronghold of the Japanese conquest at its farthest south. What we did was to go in and take that stronghold before the airfield was finished. The airfield then became the key to our positions in the Solomons. But our men occupied no more than a strip of coastal territory about 5 miles long and running back to the wooded hills. Somewhere in those hills, in the jungle-clad plains to the east, were the remnants of the Japanese occupying force, living off coconuts. And they weren't left alone for long. While Japanese surface vessels, submarines, and aircraft continued to raid our positions, small parties managed to land and melt into the jungle to join their comrades at concealed bases. On August 20th, 700 Japs suddenly rushed up to the coast in speedboats. All but 30 were killed, the rest captured. All through September, the attacks continued. During the day, our bombers would range far and wide looking for Japanese ships and blasting Jap installations in the whole Solomons area. But during the night, fast Japanese destroyers would close in, strike, land reinforcements, and sneak away. The Marines were kept busy hunting down these reinforcements as well as stalking the patrols sent out from the Japanese bases at night. In the night of September 12th to 13th, the reinforced Japs, though devoid of heavy equipment, attacked, while large fleets of Jap bombers and fighters bombed our positions. The Japs were defeated and driven back into the jungle. But their patrols kept coming back, and pretty soon our flyers spotted Japanese transports duly escorted in the surrounding seas. The engagement last Sunday night, when the Japs lost 6 ships, was the result. Despite these losses, other Jap ships came back, indicating that a large fleet concentration was supporting the action from somewhere nearby. This time, they were able to land strong reinforcements, as well as guns, within shelling distance to the west of our camp, while our Navy was evidently not there to intercept. However, no full-scale fighting has yet taken place up to the Navy's communique issued last night. Our Marines, we are told, have been reinforced from Army bases in New Caledonia, the New Hebrides, and the Fiji Islands, presumably by air. Their position is not easy. I mean the position of the Marines, for they are liable to attack from at least 2 sides as well as from the sea, unless we have naval forces in the neighborhood strong enough to beat off the Japanese ships. In the end, the mastery of the Solomons Islands will be decided by the relative strength of opposing naval and air forces, which may even now be gathering for a clash. Seen in the perspective of the whole Pacific War, this Battle of the Solomons, like the struggle in the mountains of New Guinea and the air attacks on the fog-bound Aleutians, is a phase of what Hanson Baldwin calls the Battle of the Outposts. After the turbulent months of the great Japanese offensive and the long drawn-out effort of building up our supply lines to New Zealand and Australia, the 2 opposing sides have settled down behind something like 2 enormous lines of defense. The Japanese line reaches from Kamchatka in the icy north to New Guinea way below the equator in the south. The American line runs from Nome, Alaska, through Dutch Harbor, Hawaii, Samoa, and New Caledonia to the Australian coast. Each side has pushed forward its steely tentacles to certain advanced points. The Japanese to Kiska, to Wake, the Marshall, Gilbert, and Solomon Islands. The Americans to the Adrianoff Islands in the Aleutians, to Midway, and to the southeastern Solomons, to Tulagi and Guadalcanal. These are the points of contact whenever there is fighting, which is usually swift and fierce. The forces engaged are relatively not large, but they represent the spearheads of 2 opposing fronts stretching over thousands of miles through the vast Pacific space. So great are the distances, so far are the points of contact from any home base, that the vast majority of ships and planes and men are employed in maintaining and protecting the lines of supply. Besides, the island battlefields are so small, so difficult in terrain, and so scattered that only few soldiers are likely to get into action at any one time. But they nevertheless represent the enormous naval and military powers which make it possible to project the spearheads so far from home. To all intents and purposes, then, the tiny Solomon Plains and the New Guinea mountain trails today are the main focal points of the great Pacific front. The events of this week indicate that the Japanese are making this a main theater of war. In New Guinea, it is true, they have been forced to retreat across the Owen Stanley Range, probably because Allied air power has destroyed their communications and their base. But this is not the first time the Japanese have been forced to give up their advance towards Port Moresby, only to reappear on another trail. The Japanese positions on New Guinea support the right flank of their action in the Solomons. They cannot afford to give up either, for if they lost New Guinea and the Solomons, they would open the way to a 2-pronged offensive by the United Nations from the east and eventually from the west. On the other hand, the capture of Port Moresby and the recapture of the southern Solomons are indispensable to the Japanese if they wish to consolidate their vast conquests to the north and east. For after all, the Japanese now have an enormous new empire to defend. This conquered area, if we include Thailand, stretches from Indochina to the borders of India and from the Philippines to New Guinea. It is a continental and island area of over 2 million square miles, more than half the size of the United States, with a population roughly equal to that of the United States. This does not include any part of China. By the conquest of the Chinese maritime regions, Japan has linked that empire to her earlier conquests of Manchuria and Korea, and to the Japanese islands. This is, after all, the so-called co-prosperity sphere for which Japan claims to have gone to war. She holds it together very largely by means of her naval supremacy in the Western Pacific, a supremacy which is bound to be challenged sooner or later by ourselves and our allies. However, this challenge is not likely to materialize for some time. Aside from this, the Japanese empire is vulnerable from 3 directions: from Vladivostok and Siberian bases in the north, from the Indo-Burmese frontier in the west, and from Australia in the south. Let's see which is the most imminent of these threats. The first, from Siberia, will not become an actuality unless war breaks out between Russia and Japan. Some time ago, when Japan was moving troops from southwestern China to the north, it looked as though she might have been getting ready for the long-discussed stab in the back. But the heroic stand of the Red Army at Stalingrad and on the Volga has probably not increased the Japanese zest for the job. The second threat from India is certainly on the cards, for sooner or later the Japs will have to be expelled from Burma if China is to be freed from her semi-isolation. Allied land and air power in India are steadily growing, but the mountains between India and Burma present appalling difficulties to the British as well as to the Japs. So the threat from that direction will probably not be serious until Anglo-American naval strength are overwhelming in the Bay of Bengal. By the process of elimination, we come to the fourth threat against the Japanese from the southwest Pacific. Here the tension has been rising ever since the aforesaid invasion of the Solomon Islands by the United States. It is the most immediate threat the Japanese have to face from any direction at the present time. That is what gives the action on Guadalcanal its importance in the global war. The events in the Solomons, in New Guinea, the situation on the Indian border and in the Siberian Far East, and the brutal struggle in the streets of Stalingrad are all part of the same pattern. Whatever may be the final outcome of that historic battle of Stalingrad, this much can already be said. Russia is not beaten to earth this year any more than she was beaten to earth last year when Hitler and his propaganda chief solemnly announced that she was. Last year, when he failed to take Moscow, Hitler was able to minimize his failure by pulling a large rabbit out of his hat, the entry of Japan into the war. This time the magician's hat is empty, and the Japanese rabbit is running around on his own. Instead of the one totalitarian war of the Axis, we still have 2 separate and distinct wars. What the Japanese are concerned with, apparently, is the problem of holding what they have in the Pacific, while Hitler prepares to hold what he has in the West. Both Hitler and his partner appear to be entering a war of position, whether they like it or not. That does not mean that they are on the defensive, and that the offensive has passed to us. But Japan, at least, has lost one of the large strategic advantages she had 10 months ago. She is forced to fight, not in order to advance, but in order to be able to stay where she is. She is using her forces not to conquer, but to hold. Even if she succeeds on Guadalcanal, she has lost time, men, ships, and resources to keep what she already had 6 months ago, and she can less afford to lose ships and resources than we. To grasp the offensive against incalculable odds is the job of the United Nations in 1943. Our action in the Solomons is a modest indication of what is to come. Good night.
You've been listening to Caesar Searchinger, whom we've presented in cooperation with the American Historical Association. This program came to you from New York. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Grape Nuts Flakes program, the first radio program to come to you from Williams Field near Chandler, Arizona, and starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, Rochester, and yours truly, Don Wilson. friends, the other night I saw a movie about a young man as rich and distinctive as the rich, distinctive flavor of Grape Nuts Flakes. And he met a young girl as truly appealing as an appealing bowl full of Grape Nuts Flakes. And when they got married, they lived as happily as folks who have that grand-tasting Grape Nuts Flakes at breakfast every morning. Well, friends, the moral of the story is just this. You'll find malty, rich, sweet as a nut Grape Nuts Flakes. Grape Nuts Flakes bring you your form of delicate, toasty brown flakes. A flavor that's utterly distinctive because it's a two-grain blend of sun-ripened wheat and malted barley, toasted golden brown and crisp. Grape Nut Flakes, America's fastest-growing cereal. So, for a smooth-tasting, delicious breakfast treat, ask for Grape Nuts Flakes in the thrifty 12-ounce package. This is the Army, Mr. Jones, played by the orchestra. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Williamsfield near Chandler, Arizona, we bring you a man who, after a week under the blazing Arizona sun, no longer looks like a frog's belly in the moonlight, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Frog's belly in the moonlight. Jello again. Grape Nuts Flakes again. This is Jack Benny speaking. And Don, although you put it rather crudely, there's no question about it. I do look much better with my desert tan.
Yes, Jack, you certainly do.
Well, why not? I'm outdoors all the time, horseback riding, swimming. I tell you, Don, I feel like $1 million. 25,000. You can't feel like $1 million anymore. You know, Don, this Arizona sunshine seems to have done you a lot of good, too.
Oh, it has, Jack. Every afternoon I've been taking a sun bath up on the roof of my hotel.
You take sun baths on the roof? That's a little dangerous, isn't it?
What do you mean, dangerous?
Well, there are a lot of planes flying around here, and from 10,000 feet, you must look like a landing field. Really, I'm not kidding.
Oh, now be reasonable, Jack. From 10,000 feet in the air, I look like an ant.
Well, it must be that fat ant of yours that lives in Denver. I know a landing field when I see one. Oh, hello, Mary.
Hello, Jack. Well, get a load of you. What a tan you've got.
Haven't I, though? Tell you, Mary, I look just like those toasty brown Grape Nuts Flakes.
Yeah, but you still shake like Jell-O.
I do not. I'm the picture of health. Gosh, I've been outdoors all week.
Well, why don't you get a room?
I've got a room. I'm living at the Arizona Biltmore, and what a ritzy place that is.
The Arizona Biltmore isn't even opened yet.
All right, so I have to make my own bed. A little bending over isn't going to hurt. But that hotel is lovely. You kids will have to come out and visit me.
Oh, I'd love to, Jack. Which room are you in?
Oh, you can't miss it. It's the one with the boards knocked off the window. But do come over.
Imagine moving into a hotel that isn't even open. That's the cheapest thing I ever...
All right, forget it. Where are you living?
I'm at the Westward Ho, and it's one of the most beautiful hotels in Phoenix.
It is, eh?
But you wouldn't like it. It's got maids and bellboys and telephones and everything.
You're right. I'd rather rough it at the Biltmore. That's me, huh?
Tell me, Mary, have you been having a lot of fun this week in Phoenix?
Soldiers and cowboys? How can I miss?
You're always thinking of men. What's the matter with you?
Perfectly normal. Look it up.
I don't mean that.
Hey, Jackson, ain't it wonderful here in Arizona? They ain't nothing like them wide open spaces.
Oh, hello, Phil. Yes, it is. And the climate is so grand.
Yeah, this air's the nuts. That's because there's very little humidity.
Who what?
Humidity, stupid. That means no moisture.
I know what it means. I also know how to pronounce it, but I'll be darned if I'll tell you. Say, where are you living, Melonhead? See, I'm glad I put that in. You know? kidding, Phil. Where,
Well, look, Jackson, I'm staying at a beautiful place. It's called the Camelback Inn.
Oh, at the Camelback, eh? Having a good time?
Well, I've gone without water for 7 days, if that's what
Well, that's typical of you, Phil. You come to a beautiful place like this and you don't get any rest at all.
What are you talking about? I'm under the bed every night by 10 o'clock.
Well, Phil, I'd like to ask you why you don't sleep on top of the bed, but I know your orchestra is there. By the way, you and your boys came all the way from Hollywood on the Santa Fe bus, did you?
All but my guitar player. He bought a new pair of shoes and he wanted to break them in.
Oh, my goodness. Now I've heard everything.
Say, Mr. Benny, I was wondering if I could dedicate my song tonight to my...
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello. Say, Mr. Benny, I was wondering if I could dedicate...
What? What'd you say?
I was wondering if I could dedicate my...
How do you feel out here in the desert, kid?
Oh, fine.
Good.
I had a slight case of cactus in my seat, but it's all out now.
Well, there's a lot of it going around, you know. I know about that.
Jack backed into a cactus the other night.
Never mind.
And he had to take off his pants with a pair of tweezers.
All right.
Say, Mr. Benny, I was wondering if I could dedicate my song tonight to a girlfriend of mine. I'm singing Conchita.
Oh, is that your girlfriend's name?
No,
Conchita?
No, Babe Marks.
Well, what's the connection between Conchita and Babe Marks?
Well, she Conchita more than any girl I ever had.
Dennis, you better get a big hat. The sun here is taking advantage of you.
He was a handsome young Irish lad, she was a Mexican beauty. It was fiesta and I might add, romantically he was in beauty. A boy and a girl neath a star, I can tell it in 65 hours. His Irish heart went single when he saw the Rose of Juarez. Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita Lopez. Oh, you're a lovely thing, oh. For me there's but one girl, he says. Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita Lopez. Mandolin began to play, and her lips were there to kiss. As they danced, I heard him say, New Jersey was never like this. The bells began to ring, oh, as they rolled away on a mule. To prove I'm not joking, if you're in Hoboken, drop in for a minute, and you'll meet Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita, O'Toole. And there's little Teresa, Maria, Elisa, and Patsy, and Molly, and Mike, and Jose, and Pancho, and Pedro, and Sancho, and Tommy, and Timmy, and Spike. Of course there are others, they're sisters and brothers. They're older and they go to school. There's no more to my song now. Oh, I'll run along now. That's all for Lopez and O'Toole.
That was Conchita Rosita Lopez, sung by Dennis Day. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very important announcement to make. Last Monday afternoon, Jack Benny went to an official automobile graveyard in Los Angeles and contributed his famous Maxwell to the junk salvage drive.
Yep, little Maxie is going to do her bit in the war effort.
So at this time, folks, we would like to reenact for you all that took place on that historic occasion.
God, did I make history?
Why, certainly. They want to take Paul Revere out of the school books and put you in.
Oh, stop. I know better than that.
John Paul Revere, what a sailor he was.
Oh, quiet. Continue, Don.
Jack felt that his whole radio gang should be present to take a farewell ride in that old jalopy. So he told us to be at his house at 3 o'clock sharp, and we'd all ride to the junkyard.
Oh, imagine. Imagine turning a car like this into the junk pile. Why, the motor is in wonderful condition.
Wonderful condition?
Yes.
I lifted up the hood yesterday and the spark plug was playing Ring Around the Fan Belt.
That's a lie because I'm wearing the fan belt. You know, fellas, I realize I should give my car to the salvage drive, but, gee, you can't blame a fella for being blue and all choked up.
Did the laundry shrink your collar?
No! Pay attention. I'm sentimental. Take it easy, Rochester. No use getting another ticket for speeding.
Holy smoke, Jackson. You mean to say you got a ticket for speeding in this car?
That's right, Mr. Harris. Our bumper got hooked to a fire truck.
I don't care how it happened. We were going like the wind. Now watch what you're doing, Rochester, and grab a hold of the steering wheel.
I'll catch it the next time it comes by.
Well, you better. God. Imagine, after all these years, parting with my little Maxwell.
Oh, boy. Hey, look at that gorgeous blonde standing on the corner there.
Where? Who? What? Where? Oh, yeah, I see her.
Oh, Jack, put down that telescope.
Well, I know the girl. It's Shirley Truebut. Hello, Shirley. Remember me?
Jeepers, yes.
Turn here, Rochester. That junkyard is down on Western Avenue. Gee, it ought to be around here somewhere.
There's the sign, Jack. Official automobile graveyard.
Oh, yeah. Turn in here, Rochester.
Okay.
And watch that curve.
Easy does it.
Well, that's it, fellas. That was our last trip. Our last ride in the Maxwell.
I'll buy a drink.
Never mind. Hello.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
I'm Jack Benny. Are you the head man in this junkyard?
I'm not wearing this carnation in my overalls for nothing.
Oh, yes. Well, I've got a car here I'd like to turn into the salvage drive. This is it right here.
Well, we do need junk, but aren't you overdoing it, old man?
Look, buddy, scrap is scrap. Now, how much am I offered?
The rate we're paying here is $7 a ton, so I can give you about $7.50.
$7.50? Now, wait a minute, mister. I've got a lot of extras on this car. For instance, the radio and the fog light, this cigarette lighter.
What cigarette lighter?
Right there.
That's a candle.
Well, if you can't light a cigarette with a candle, brother, you ought to give up smoking. Now, how much am I offered?
It's still $7.50.
Oh.
Now, you can have cash, but if you like, I'll pay you in war stamps.
Well, I'll take the war stamp.
Yes, sir. Would you like a wet sponge, or have you strength enough to lick them?
Yes, give me the stamp. I'll handle it. Thanks. Well, that's that.
Come on, Jack, let's get going.
Yep. Gotta get going, I guess. Yes, sir.
Come on, Jackson, let's get out of here.
Yep. Gotta leave my little Maxie. Oh, well. It's for a good cause. Yep.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. Well, come on. Come on, Rochester.
I'm coming, boss. I'm coming.
Oh, stop bawling, or you'll have me doing it, too.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is several hours later, and Jack has returned to his home in Beverly Hills, and as we pick him up now, it's about bedtime.
5 years. 5 years I've had that little Maxwell. Now it's gone forever. Well, I might as well turn in, I guess. Get my pajamas out, Rochester.
I put a nightshirt right there on the bed, boss.
I don't want a nightshirt. Been getting cold lately, and a nightshirt creeps up on me.
This one won't do any creeping. I put stirrups on it.
Good. I don't think I'll bother creaming my face tonight. Really, I'm too tired. My complexion is all right.
But I got some new stuff from the drugstore. Betty Bunker's Beauty Balm.
What's that?
It says here, put it on and take a snooze, clears up wrinkles on face and shoes.
Well, just put it on my shoes tonight. I'm all in. Here, hang up my pants and undershirt. Well, good evening, Mr. Billingsley.
Good evening, Mr. Benny. Fit for your physical, I see.
No, I'm just getting ready for bed. I've been very restless lately, you know.
Well, in that case, you must try one of my new sleeping pills. Here you are.
Mr. Billingsley, this isn't a pill, it's a baseball bat.
Well, if that doesn't do the trick, you ought to see a doctor.
Well, thanks anyway.
Don't mention it. Good night, Mr. Benny.
Good night.
Oh, I haven't seen her in years.
He's a strange fellow. Boy, am I all in.
Pleasant dreams, boss. Brace yourself.
Rochester, put down that baseball bat. You're as bad as he is. Gosh, this bed sure feels good. Although how I can sleep with my Maxwell all busted up in that junkyard, I don't know.
Boss, why don't you look at it this way? Before you know it, the scrap from your car is going to be part of a battleship or a tank or an airplane.
Gee.
I tell you, boss, if everybody in the country turned in their old junky cars and dug up all the scrap they could, there wouldn't be no shortage of nothing, especially victory.
You're right, Rochester.
Absolutely right. Well, good night.
Good night, Mr. Benny. If your hot water bottle springs a leak, just put a Band-Aid on it.
I will.
See, no wonder I'm tired.
Gee, I practically helped Henry Kaiser build a ship today.
Gosh, just think. Little Maxie's gonna be a ship. Or a tank.
Or maybe an airplane.
$7 a ton.
Calling Bombardier Benny. Report to commanding officer immediately.
Bombardier Benny? Gee, that's me. I'm a bombardier.
Calling Bombardier Benny.
Coming, sir. Bombardier Benny reporting. Did you call me, sir?
Yes. What kept you?
Sorry, I was creaming my face. What's up, sir?
There's a bomber waiting outside, and you're assigned to the crew. Your destination is Tokyo.
Tokyo?
Yes. Are you ready?
I sure am, Colonel Bridget. I'm all set to shove off.
Good. You'll find your bomber on the north runway. The pilot's warming up the plane now.
Wait a minute. I forgot my radio, my fog light, and my cigarette lighter.
Here's a candle.
A candle?
Yes. If you can't light a cigarette with a candle, you ought to take off that fan belt.
Gee, the Colonel's in a happy mood today. Oh, boy, Tokyo. I'm gonna blow that joint to smithereens, or my name ain't Bombardier Benny. Gee, look at all those bombers. I wonder which one is mine.
Your plane is coming right up.
Where? Well, I'll be. It's my Maxwell. Only it's got wings on it. Maxie, speak to me. It knows me. Gee, it's nice up here. How high are we, Rochester?
10,000 feet, boys.
Good. At $7 a ton, that's a fortune. Well, we're off to Tokyo.
We sure are.
Oh, there's a red light up ahead. Slow down, Rochester.
Red light, that's the sun.
Well, it just turned green. Step on it. Look at that water down there. Is that the Pacific Ocean Navigator?
It sure is, Jackson.
Phil Harris. Are you the navigator, Phil?
I ain't wearing this carnation in my nose for nothing.
Oh, yes. Where are we, Phil?
Well, according to the calculations I just computed on my Mercator chart, we're at the zenith of the apex, longitude 42, latitude 51, and a wind velocity of $7 a ton.
What does that mean? Where are we?
St. Joe, Missouri.
They love me there. Come on, we got to get to Tokyo. Gee, I hope we brought enough bombs with us.
Cigars, cigarettes, bombs. You can't have any fun over Tokyo without a bomb.
I'll take a few of those, miss.
You want a wet sponge with them, or can you drop them yourself?
Yourself? Oh, I haven't seen her in years. What's the matter, Rochester?
We're running into bad weather, boss. Look at that cloud up ahead.
Where? Why, I know that cloud. It's Don Wilson. Hiya, Don.
Hello, Jack. Where are you going?
Tokyo.
Good. I rained all over it last night.
You want to come along with us, Cloud?
I'd love to, but I gotta float back to America now and tell everybody about America's fastest growing cereal. Those toasty brown, sweet as a nut, grape nut flakes. There you go again. It's grape.
Well, come on, Harris, you're the navigator. Which way is Tokyo?
I'll have to check my position by radio.
Tune it in.
And so, chin up, but with tear-dimmed eyes. We find Sally Yoshimoto waiting for her husband Togo.
That's the Japanese radio. We must be on the beam, all right. We've got to get ready. Where's our machine gunner, Shirley Truebucker?
Here I am, Mr. Benny.
Good. Well, we're on the way, fellas. It won't be long now. Hey, who's that passing us?
It's Jimmy Doolittle.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Jimmy.
Hiya, Jack.
Good old Doolittle. Follow him, Rochester. He knows where Tokyo is. Gee, it ought to be around here someplace.
Look, Mr. Benny, there's a big island right down below it.
And that city there in the middle of it is Tokyo.
Tokyo. Now get set, Harris. We're going into a dive.
I wouldn't drink with them lousy lights for $1 million.
No, I didn't mean that. We're going to give them the works. Come on, men. Let's start dropping these bombs. Look at those buildings blow up. Look at that bamboo fly. There goes another building.
Boss, wake up! Wake up!
And then there goes another one.
Wake up, boss, you're dreaming!
And there goes... Dreaming? Oh, yes. Rochester, I just had the most wonderful dream. I dreamt I was bombing Tokyo.
Tokyo? Did you blow it all up?
Not quite.
Then I'll stir you up a Welsh rabbit. Let's finish the job.
That's an idea. What a dream.
You know, Uncle Sam tells us that one of the most vital industries in America is homemaking. Whereas a homemaker, you help to sustain the health and stamina of the home front. And to help you in that job, our government's National Nutrition Program tells you how to plan menus wisely. To get each day plenty of the essential foods which promote health and vitality. Now, that includes whole grain cereals. Cereals such as delicious toasty brown Grape Nuts Flakes. For Grape Nuts Flakes are a whole grain cereal, so they supply important whole grain food values, such as iron, niacin, and vitamin B1. Food values which every one of us need every day to help keep ourselves in robust, good health. Yes, Grape Nuts Flakes at breakfast will give you a mighty good start on your daily nourishment needs. So for a grand, nutritious breakfast dish that's chock full of delicious flavor, make it malty, rich, sweet as a nut Grape Nuts Flakes tomorrow morning.
The last number of the third program in the Grape Nuts Flake series. All kidding aside, ladies and gentlemen, automobile scrap must furnish 5 million of the 30 million tons of steel scrap needed to maintain steel production at its current rate. So sell your old jalopy to an automobile graveyard and help keep the steel mills rolling. I want to thank Colonel Bridget and Colonel Grill for their friendly cooperation here at Williams Field. It was a real pleasure to dedicate this new theater here at the Post.
Fine building, no powder room.
Well, it's for the soldier. Good night, folks.
The Jack Benny program is written by Bill Maher and Ed Beloy. This program is for the entertainment of Army personnel and does not necessarily constitute an endorsement of its products by the War Department.
Have you treated your family to Grape Nuts Wheat Meal? It's the new hot cereal that's extra nourishing, extra delicious, extra speedy. Grape Nuts Wheat Meal is a nourishing whole grain hot cereal. Every tempting, steaming bowlful is rich with the goodness of roasted wheat, with a texture that's smooth but full body. And it cooks in just 3 minutes. So ask your grocer for the rich, hot brown cereal, Grape Nuts Wheat Meal. This program came to you from Williams Field in Arizona. This is the Broadcasting Company.
Jack Armstrong, the all-American boy.
Spread your wings, you eagles, and fly. Time for champions to take to the air. Hit the beam and get those planes in the sky. And let's keep them flying there. We're an all-American team. And we see every play eye to eye. Hit them hard and fast with plenty of steam. And let's keep them flying high.
Wheaties, Breakfast of Champions, bring you the thrilling adventures of Jack Armstrong, the all-American boy.
Mr. Mack, I've got a pretty important message for Jack Armstrong's friends.
That's okay, Larry. You go right ahead. I think I know what you're going to say, and it's plenty important.
Well, thanks, Mr. Mack. Look, what I'm going to say is, well, I guess if you're anything like me, you know 2 or 3 fellas that are either in the Air Corps or with the Army or the Navy or the Marines. A lot of these fighting men we know are a long way from home and, well, gosh, put yourself in their place. Wouldn't you like to hear the news from your hometown? All about what your friends are doing, how your dog is, what's happening to your high school football team this season? Gosh, that's the kind of news our men like to hear. Well, you can give it to them. Yep, General Mills, makers of Wheaties, want you to write to a fighting man. And they've organized Jack Armstrong's Write a Fighter Corps just for that purpose. Now, I know you've heard Mr. Mack explain all about it. How the WAFC is a national organization, how the Quiz Kids were the very first WAFC squadron organized in the United States, and how you can have that swell feeling that you're doing something for the men who are fighting the Nazis and the Japs to help keep us free. But look, if you'd like the facts on how to become a squadron leader in the WAFC, and that's a pretty swell job, too, listen to this. Here's all you have to do. Ask 5 of your friends if they'd write a letter to a relative or a friend in the armed forces once every month. When you have 5 who will promise to do that, print their names on a penny postcard with your own name and address and the call letters of the station to which you are listening at the bottom of the card and mail it to Jack Armstrong, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And say, just as soon as your card is received, General Mills enrolls you as a squadron leader in the Write a Fighter Corps. But gosh, there's a lot more to come. Just listen to this. In just a few days, you'll receive your official WAFC kit. It's about the swellest doggone thing you've seen. Just listen. You get 6 honor bars and honor stars for yourself and your squadron. You get 6 official WAFC stencils that'll help you make your own squadron stationery. You can do a swell printing job with this stencil. Print Write a Fighter Corps on every sheet together with your names and squadron number. And with this stencil, you can make the Star of Freedom, too. That's the official WAFC insignia. But best of all, you get the Write a Fighter Manual with a lot of exciting information on how to write to the men in our armed forces, facts about V-mail, and suggestions on news items for your fighter. So, gosh, I can't imagine how you could turn it down. No, sir, this is an important war job for every one of us to do. So, what do you say? Let's get that WAFC squadron together tonight. You can do it by calling 5 of your friends. Let's get going on this big war job right away.
And now, Jack Armstrong, the all-American boy. Jack Armstrong is going down into that sinking submarine. The dark Atlantic waves are lapping hungrily at her deck, and the American subchaser is standing by, taking off the last of the captured enemy crew. But Dr. Crawford is in the submarine, and so, leaving Betty at the controls of the nearby amphibian, Jack, Billy, Whirly, and Uncle Jim have leaped overboard and right now are climbing up the nearby submerged deck of the stricken craft. Listen.
Here we are, Billy. Now let's climb aboard. Watch your step. The submarine's slippery.
Yeah, that isn't all. Look how low she is in the water, Jack. Holy smoke, she's going to sink in just a minute.
I guess so. She's taking in water fast. But we'll have Dr. Crawford out of there by that time if we're lucky. Here, Whirly, take my hand. I'll pull you up.
Righto. Like climbing on the back of a whale, huh?
Yeah, whale that's about to sound. Now, where's Uncle Jim?
Here I am, Jack. Are we all on board now?
All 4 of us, Uncle Jim. Come on, let's get to the conning tower.
Captain, the sub is rolling so much in those swells that I can hardly keep my feet.
Don't go overboard, Billy. Too hard finding you in the dark.
Now look sharp, all of you. This sub may go down at any moment. We've got to find Dr. Crawford quickly. When we go below, Jack and I look forward. Billy, you and Whirly look aft.
Here's the ladder. I'll go first.
Gee, I wonder if they captured Weasel with the rest of the crew.
Captain Spray's checking up on that now, Billy.
All right, Uncle Jim. I'm going down the hatch.
Right behind you, Jack. Hurry.
Suffering catfish, there's still a light below.
Let's see the emergency light, Billy. Hey, look. Look down there, Uncle Jim.
What is it, Jack?
There's a man at the bottom of the ladder.
It's Dr. Crawford. He's trying to climb up.
But he looks too weak to make it, Jack. We'll go down and lend a hand. Billy, you and Whirly stay above. We don't need you now.
Okay, Uncle Jim, but for Pete's sake, make it snappy. Come on, Whirly.
The tub's half full of water, Uncle Jim. Look at it swish around below.
It's going to be nip and tuck, Jack. Keep moving down.
It's a wonder Dr. Crawford didn't drown. He looks as though he's just able to hang onto that ladder.
What did Weasel do to him?
Put him in a hypnotic sleep, for one thing, so he'd talk. Hang on, Doctor. We'll have you in half a jiffy.
He looks pretty weak, Jack. Weasel must have been working on him a long time.
Yeah, I'll say. Here. Now, I'll take one arm, you take the other. We'll pull him back up the ladder. Are you strong enough to use your legs, Dr. Crawford?
I believe so. If you two can pull me, I'll try to help.
Take hold, Jack. It's going to be hard, but we've got to do it.
You're taking a chance to save me. I think the submarine will sink soon.
We'll get you above first, Doctor.
Hurry, Jack! The submarine's almost completely awash!
Believe me, you'll go down if you don't get out right away.
We're not leaving you, Doctor, and we're doing fine. We'll soon be out of here.
The conning tower will add some buoyancy for a while, Doctor. Take it out.
For the love of Mike, Jack, hurry! The stuff is sinking!
We're almost up, Billy.
You mustn't wait. You'll be lost. You must leave me and save yourself.
We're almost there, Doctor.
He's sinking, Jack! Just the conning tower's above water. I'm hanging on to it, but it's going under fast.
The water's coming in.
Now, that's just a wave that splashed into the conning tower, Doctor. Now, here, I'm at the top now.
One more heave, Jack, and we'll have him at the top with us.
He's going under, Jack. He's diving under.
Hold on to him, Jack. One more heave will do it.
I've got him, Uncle Jim. There. He's out. And there goes the top. Where are you, Jack? I'm all right, Billy. Keep afloat. Watch out for the suction.
I'll hold up Dr. Crawford, Jack.
I'll help you, Uncle Jim.
You find Whirly.
Here I am. Where do we go from here? We've got to get to the amphibian. There she is, right over there.
Betty has started the engines, Jack. He's coming over here.
And there's a lifeboat from the subchaser, too, Billy.
Betty will get here first, Jack.
Boy, oh boy, will I be glad to get aboard. How you doing, Uncle Jim? Need any help?
I'm all right, Jack. No trick to keep Dr. Crawford afloat.
I owe my life to you. Don't know who you are or why you saved me.
We'll tell you everything when we get you aboard the amphibian. Ah, here she is. Jack.
You, Whirly, and Billy climb aboard. Then we'll hoist Dr. Crawford up.
Right. Betty's throwing on a line now. I'll shinny up first, Billy.
Okay, Jack. But hurry. This water is icy cold.
There. We're all aboard. Work the plane over toward the subchaser, Betty.
All right, Jack.
Where's Dr. Crawford, Jack? Oh, there he is. Take him in the rear cabin. Let him lie down on the bunk and keep him well covered.
All right, Uncle Jim. Say, how about contacting the subchaser by radio? I'm worried about Weasel. I want to make sure they've got him.
I'll do that, Jack. I'll see that Captain Spray is safe, too. And in the meanwhile, we'll take off and get back to Victory Island.
Can you walk back to the rear cabin, Dr. Crawford?
I believe so. I'm sorry I'm such a nuisance.
Well, you've been through a lot. Come on, we're going to take off now.
I'll come with you, Jack. Dr. Crawford and I know each other.
Good. Oh. We've got a lot to tell him. Here, this way, Doctor.
Oh, Whirly, this is a surprise. How did you get here from Victory Island?
Blue. Not like Jack. He and Billy came by submarine. Enemy's help. No accounting for taste.
Then are all of you from Victory Island?
Righto. Jack's inventing an atomic engine. He split the atom. Hot stuff, huh?
Split the atom? Incredible. Tell me about it.
Well, lie down on the bunk first, Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's get this blanket around you.
Oh, thanks. Now, tell me what's happened. I'm very confused.
Oh, I'm a bit confused myself. Things happen so fast. Jack Armstrong came to Victory Island to use our research labs. Bango, first thing you know, he splits the atom.
Amazing. That means unlimited power.
Righto. He's going back to Victory Island now to design an atomic engine to use that power.
But in the meantime, Doctor, the spy Weasel had been taking your place on Victory Island. He fooled everyone.
I know. It happened months ago. But he kept me a prisoner. I couldn't tell anyone.
Well, we discovered the hoax, and then we fooled him. He wanted to capture us and learn our secret. So we let him capture us. But Uncle Jim and Whirly followed his boat with this ship.
Well, that's a story in itself, Jack. But go ahead.
Well, we found out the ocean cave where Weasel had his headquarters. But then we got a bad break. Weasel discovered our plans. He put us all aboard the submarine and started off. He had you in a hypnotic sleep, but he brought you along.
Then bango, bango. The subchasers came after us. Opened up seams, crew mutinied, brought ship to top, subchasers rammed her, captured crew, and here we are.
Amazing. I hope they captured Weasel, too.
Uncle Jim's checking on that now, Dr. Crawford. He's contacting the subchaser by radio. We'll soon know.
We can't be too careful. That man is a genius. He's a genius possessed of an evil spirit.
He's disguised as one of the officers of the submarine now, Doctor.
Oh, Jack!
Oh, there's Betty calling. What is it, Betty?
Uncle Jim says to come here and help him with the radio.
Uncle Jim wants help with the radio. I'll be back soon.
Don't hurry. I think I'll try to sleep.
Then I'll leave you too, Doctor. Come on, Jack.
I'll close the door so we won't disturb you, Barney. Wonder why Uncle Jim needs help with the radio.
Come here, Jack. Quick.
What's the matter, Uncle Jim? What happened to the radio?
The radio is all right. I wanted to get you away from Weasel with a...
From Weasel?
That's right. I've just learned that the man we think is Dr. Crawford is really Weasel.
Can you beat that, Jack?
How do you know, Uncle Jim?
Look at this message from the subchaser, Jack. I've just taken it down.
It says that one of the officers they captured was unconscious, Jack.
But he was just in that hypnotic sleep. They managed to bring him around, and he proved he was really Dr. Crawford.
Don't you see what happened, Jack? Weasel changed clothes with Dr. Crawford in the submarine. Then he waited there at the bottom of the conning tower, hoping that we'd come aboard to save Crawford. If we didn't come, he was all set to dash up before the sub sank.
Boy, oh boy. Come on, Billy. Come back with me. You too, Whirly. Hurry.
Jumping Jiminy, Jack. Maybe Weasel is getting ready to bail out.
Open the door, Billy. We'll run in there and hold him.
Okay, Jack. Where is he?
Gone. Blown the coop. He's already jumped, Billy. The door's open. He's taken a parachute and jumped.
But what are we going to do, Jack?
We're going back to Victory Island, Billy. We're going to get that atomic engine built just as soon as we can. We're going to put it on bombers that'll fly around the world. And while we're doing that,
we'll have the man with 100 faces around us in 100 disguises. Holy smoke, Jack. Do you know what it means to have Weasel loose again?
Yes, sir, Jack knows what it means to have the man with 100 faces at large again. But don't you think it will stop Jack Armstrong for a moment. He's on the verge of one of the most astounding thrills of his life. And if you want to be with him, well, just listen to the next episode of The Adventure of the Atomic Engine. There are only a few days left for you to become a squadron leader in the Jack Armstrong Ride-a-Fighter Corps. Membership rolls close next Monday at midnight, and you'll have to have your squadron enrollment card in the mail by that time. So you better get busy right away. Call 5 of your friends and ask them if they'd like to become members of your WAFC squadron. Explain to them that every WAFC member promises to write to either a relative or a friend in the fighting forces of the United States once every month. When you have enlisted 5 members, print their names on a penny postcard with your own name and address at the bottom of the card, also the call letters of the station to which you are now listening. Then, mail your card immediately to Jack Armstrong, Minneapolis, Minnesota. In just a short time, you'll receive the complete Ride-a-Fighter kit containing honor bars and honor stars for yourself and your squadron, the official Ride-a-Fighter stencil to help you make your own attractive stationery, and the exciting Ride-a-Fighter manual. Do not send any money or box tops. Invest your money in United States war bonds and stamps. But remember, present membership rolls in the Ride-a-Fighter Corps close at midnight on Monday. Your postcard must be in the mail by that time if you're going to become a WAFC squadron leader. Get busy right now. See that your card goes into the mail tonight.
Have you tried Wheaties? They're whole wheat with all of the brands.
This is Franklin McCormick saying goodbye for General Mills, makers of Wheaties, Breakfast of Champions, who invite you to listen tomorrow to another episode of Jack Armstrong, the All-American Boy.
So just buy Wheaties, the best breakfast food in the land.
This program has come to you from Chicago. You're listening to the Blue Network.
Who knew that Jack Armstrong played a part in splitting the atom? You learn something new here every day. You know, a while back I heard or read that once the Manhattan Project got underway, the government banned any mention of nuclear technology in print or on the air. We will find out if that is really the case as we move on. I was really surprised to hear about it at this stage in the war anyways, especially on a children's program. My name is Henry Chap, and there is still more old-time radio to come. We have the Screen Guild Theater production of the 1942 film Yankee Doodle Dandy starring James Cagney and Gangbusters, so stick around. If you love the World War II era, consider following us on Patreon. You not only support this channel, but you will get daily posts of pop culture and a daily newspaper in chronological order. It's neat to follow the war as your parents, grandparents, or even your great-grandparents have followed it. Check us out with a 1-week free trial. A link is in the comments to this video. Come back and visit next Sunday when we move up a week to the week ending October 31st, 1942, Halloween. And we are going to listen to Lights Out, Jubilee, which is a program from the Armed Forces Radio Service, Vic and Sade, CBS News, and Dark Destiny with a great Halloween episode. So be sure to come back and visit. Right now, we are going to listen to a wonderful Screen Guild Theater production of the 1942 film starring James Cagney, a Yankee Doodle dandy. Cagney does star in this adaptation. This episode is from October 19th, 1942. By the way, if you want to watch the film, it is on our Patreon page, World War II on the Air and in Print. Go to the page and type in Yankee Doodle Dandy in the search bar, or click on Collections and go to the playlist Classic Movies from World War II, and you can find it in there nestled with a bunch of other films. After Screen Guild, it is Gangbusters. Now, if you fall asleep to my show, don't worry. The opening of Gangbusters is sure to wake you up. It's probably the loudest opening in radio history. The episode we are going to hear is from October 23rd, 1942, and the episode title is The Case of Clyde William Buchanan. So let's turn back on this old tube radio, that's our time machine, and give this stuff a listen.
Lady Esther presents the Screen Guild Players in Yankee Doodle Dandy.
This is James Cagney.
Joan Leslie.
Walter Houston.
And this is Jean Cagney.
Lady Esther and all the stores who bring you Lady Esther face powder and Lady Esther face cream present the Screen Guild Players, starring James Cagney and Joan Leslie, with Walter Houston, Gene Cagney, Richard Wharf, S.C. Sochall, and Charles Irwin, in musical highlights from Warner Brothers' forthcoming brilliant motion picture, Yankee Doodle Dandy, based on the 50-year theatrical career of George M. Cohan. This is the story of a real Yankee Doodle dandy, a man who told the world proudly, I am an American. It is the story of George M. Cohan, who loved and understood his country, and through singing his songs, that country learned to understand itself.
Well, I'm glad to hear people say I understand my country. However, not long ago, I created a misunderstanding without meaning to. It really had me worried. I was impersonating the President of the United States in a play called I'd Rather Be Right, when I received a summons to appear at the White House. Oh, I was really upset when I walked into the President's office.
Well, how's my double?
I'm not sure, Mr. President. You'll have to give me time to work on that one.
Are you sure you'll realize why I sent for you, Mr. Cohan?
No, Mr. President, I don't know. But if it's because you object to my impersonating you on the stage, why...
Well, you know, Mr. Cohan, I remember seeing you and your family, the four Cohans, when I was going to school near Boston.
Oh, I was a pretty cocky kid in those days. A regular Yankee Doodle dandy, always in a parade or following one, wherever there was a flag.
I hope you haven't outgrown the habit. It's a great quality.
Well, I guess I got the idea from my father, Mr. President. He ran off to the Civil War at 13. Well, some years after the war, he married my mother, and they toured the variety theaters of the country as Mr. and Mrs. Jerry Cohan, the Irish Darlings. Then on the 4th of July, 1878 in Providence, Rhode Island, my father was playing a variety theater alone.
Larry O'Leary is my name by trade. I am a dancing master. There's no one can teach the same, nor teach it any faster. It's easy, very easy, if you'll watch every twist, every turn. Keep your eyes upon me, and surprised you will be at the dancing you have yet to learn. Keep your eyes upon me, and surprised you will be at the dancing you have yet to learn.
Mother should have been with him on the stage, but she was busy in a smaller production. Father hurried to her as soon as he had finished his turn. But that was once I made an entrance ahead of Father.
Are you all right, Nellie?
Yes, Jerry.
Is everything all right?
Everything's grand, Jerry. You're the brand new father of a brand new boy.
A boy it is. And born on the 4th of July. Praise be. We'll call him George Washington Cohan.
Well, Jerry, the George is fine, but the Washington may be too long for billboard.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now, how about a good short Irish name? Dennis or Michael?
George Michael Cohan. I like that name.
Mr. President, I was 6 or 7 years old before I realized they weren't celebrating my birthday on the 4th of July.
I can understand that.
In fact, life to me has been a roundup of parades and songs. Often, of course, they went together, but not always. When I wrote Mary, the only parade I had in mind was the one that takes a man and the girl down the aisle. And I'll never forget the night my Mary sang the song I'd written for her.
My mother's name was Mary. She was so good and true, because her name was Mary. They called me Mary, too. She wasn't gay or airy, but plain as she could be. I hate to meet a Mary who calls herself Mary.
Wonderful feeling, having a name set to music. You know, I'd like everybody to know that it was written for me, that I'm the Mary.
Well, that's easy. How would you like a lifetime job? George M. Cohan's leading lady, run of the play contract, and no options.
I think I might like it, Mr. Cohan. Could I see a sample of my part in the script?
Well, here's how it starts. How would you like the first reading?
Could we have another rehearsal?
It was Mary, Mary, long before the passion came. For there is something there that sounds so square. It's a grand old I didn't get as quick or effective results every time, though, Mr. President. Another parade I used to lead was the parade of frustrated playwrights marching from one producer to another. I had just about given up hope of ever getting my musical show, Little Johnny Jones, produced when I walked into Rector's famous restaurant one night. Sam Harris was seated at a table talking to another man who didn't appear too interested in the sales talk Sam was giving him. I didn't know Sam's name then, but I'd met him in several producers' offices trying to sell his play, so I knew what he was after.
when the villain tells the boy, I'll tell your girl who you really are unless you help me hold up the stagecoach, you'll have the audience in the aisle.
Sure, just like me, walking out of the theater. I tell you, before I put $10,000 of my wife's money into a show, it's got to have songs, dances, and lots of girls.
That was my cue. Schwab wanted songs, dances, and lots of girls, and I had a musical comedy under my arm. So I moved in and told Harris under my breath, listen, mister, I have a musical. Schwab won't buy your play, but if you help me sell him the musical, we're partners. What do you say?
What can I lose? Well, partner, did you sell the musical at Eton Golf?
Well, they're ready to sign the contract as soon as we can get over to their offices.
Come on, then, let's go.
But was that? Did you say something about the musical? Why haven't I heard about it?
Oh, you wouldn't be interested. It's nothing but a lot of hit tunes and thousands of girls.
Thousands of girls.
Yeah, and lots of music.
I don't mind music under those circumstances. Why ain't I producing it?
That's a good question.
I will give you my check for $10,000 right now.
That's the perfect answer.
Let me be the first to congratulate you, Mr. Schwab.
Oh, thank you, thank you. You are both very kind to let me in on this. By the way, does our musical have a name?
It's called Little Johnny Jones. All about Todd Sloan, a famous jockey. There's, give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. And tell all the gang at 42nd Street that I will soon be there. And whisper of how I yearn to mingle with that old-time throng. Give my regards to old Broadway and say that I'll be there ere long.
We'll give your regards to Broadway. Remember you to Herald Square. Tell all the gang at 42nd Street that you will soon be there. We'll whisper of how you're yearning to mingle with the old-time throng. We'll give your regards to old Broadway and say that you'll be there ere long.
That was a pretty good tune this day, Mr. President, but my favorite song from Little Johnny Jones was Yankee Doodle Boy. You remember? That's all the candy. I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. I'm glad I am. I'm a real-life Yankee Doodle. Made my name and fame and boodle just as Mr. Doodle did by riding on a pony. I love to listen to the Dixie strain. I long to see the girl I left behind me. That ain't a Josh. She's a Yankee, by gosh.
Oh, say, can you sing?
Anything about a Yankee, that's all phony.
Little Johnny Jones, a jockey from the USA.
Well, ride the pony, Yankee Doodle, English Derby Day.
Johnny broken records every track and every meet.
So Yankee Doodle gonna be the boy they have to beat.
Sportsmen of the British Isles who followed his career have offered Johnny anything to keep him over here.
But all the money in the Bank of England couldn't pay enough to keep young Johnny Jones away from old Broadway.
If you want to take a tip, the surest of your things.
Have your house mortgage, hop your watches, pawn your rings.
And put it all on Yankee Doodle, Johnny Jones is up.
I am going to give America the English Derby Cup.
He's going to give America the English Derby Cup.
I'm a Yankee Doodle dandy. Yankee Doodle do or die. A real life nephew of my Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. I've got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart. She's my Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the ponies. I am that Yankee Doodle boy.
He's a Yankee Doodle dandy, a Yankee Doodle do or die. A real life nephew of his Uncle Sam, born on the 4th of July. He's got a Yankee Doodle sweetheart. She's his Yankee Doodle joy. Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the pony. He is a Yankee Doodle boy.
Horses for the Derby are now on the paddock. Take your pick, ladies and gentlemen.
Good luck, Johnny. Success to you. All the best of the best to you. We'll make our bets and leave the rest to you. 'Cause you've got what it takes to win.
good condition. That's Yankee Doodle on the end, a wonderful position. Look at him rear, he's broken line. He's simply wild to run. Now he's back in line again. There's the starting gun. They're off.
Come on, Yankee Doodle, we have got to hold the poodle on you. Run, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Yankee takes the lead.
Come on, break away their shoulders, how to earn their hay, they're on the run. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Show a little speed.
At the quarter, he's gaining. At the turn now, he's reining his horse.
Let's go, 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 go.
The half mark is cruising, but he seems to be losing his lead.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. We simply have to win.
He'll never win, he'll never win. The other nags are closing in. Down to third from second place. Looks as though he's throwing the race. Got him in the pocket, he can't get in the clear. But in the stretch, here they come, he's falling to the rear. Lost the race into frame, he'll find out who's to blame. Bear the name of Johnny Jones. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, it's all over. Yankee Doodle let him down. They'll either pasture him in clover or have him hauling rubbish in London town.
Goodbye, Johnny, we're through with you. We'll have nothing to do with you. See here, young fellow, you've been dishonest, and we, the judges, find that you be suspended for throwing the race.
I am a Yankee Doodle dandy. Yankee Doodle, do or die. Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the ponies. I am that Yankee Doodle boy.
Yankee Doodle came to London just to ride the ponies. He is that Yankee Doodle boy.
We will continue in just a moment with the second half of the Lady Esther Screen Guild play, Yankee Doodle Dandy. But first, a brief message from Lady Esther.
I am very happy and really quite a bit thrilled to present to the women of America this new Lady Esther program, the Screen Guild Players. Now, you know, of course, that you yourselves, you who are listening out there tonight, have made this program possible. For millions of you have chosen Lady Esther face powder and Lady Esther face cream as your favorite aids to beauty. Yes, more lovely women today use Lady Esther face powder than any other kind. And millions of women, busier than they have ever been before in their lives, have chosen my one cream, Lady Esther Four-Purpose Face Cream, for the complete care of their skin. So you see, it has been your own loyalty to Lady Esther Cosmetics that now brings you the leading screen stars and the best directors and writers of Hollywood in this new Lady Esther program. Every Monday night, this new Lady Esther program will bring you your favorite stars in the most popular movies and plays of the year. I hope you are enjoying tonight's presentation, and I hope you will continue to enjoy the Lady Esther Screen Guild plays for a long, long time to come.
Now the curtain's ready to rise on the second act of Yankee Doodle Dandy, starring James Cagney, Joan Leslie, Walter Houston, and Gene Cagney. Back in the White House office of the President of the United States, where he has been summoned by presidential order, George M. Cohan is nervously continuing the story of his life.
Well, Mr. President, little Johnny Jones is a great financial success. And it wasn't long before the four Cohans, Mother, Father, my sister Josie, and I, were appearing in George Washington, Jr. We all sang the big number in that production, The Grand Old Flag. There's
There's a feeling comes a stealing, and it sets my brain a-reeling when I listen to the music of a military band. Any tune like Yankee Doodle simply sets me off my noodle. It's that patriotic something that no one can understand. Melody untiring, it's so inspiring.
Hurrah, hurrah, we'll join the Jubilee.
And that's going some for the Yankees by gum. Red, white, and blue, I am for you. Honest, you're a grand old flag. You're a grand old flag. You're a high-flying flag. And forever in peace may you reign. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on that grand old flag.
You're a grand old flag, you're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you reign. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true under red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But the old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on that grand old flag.
Listen to that applause, George.
Oh, they'd like to. Isn't it wonderful?
They won't stop, George. Yes? Now, go out and thank them.
Well, what can I say to that?
Well, tell them anything. Just so you tell them, well, thank you. That's
all right, but you all have to come with me. My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My sister thanks you. And I thank you. That was just the beginning, Mr. President. Life from then on was a series of new shows, new theaters, new towns, trains. And all of a sudden, it was 1917. Our enemies of today were our enemies then. We declared war on Germany. Like every other man, I tried to enlist, but they turned me down. As I walked out of the Army doctor's office, one of the fellows standing outside said,
Don't worry, pal. We'll take care of them over there.
Give me an idea. Over there. Well, I kept repeating that phrase to myself. Over there. Over there. Over there. It sounded like a great title for a song. And I hurried home to work on it. The drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there. Well, that war was over, but, gosh, Mr. President, I've got a lot of nerve taking up your time with the story of my life. Why did you stop me?
Why, I wanted to hear the story of your life. It has a direct bearing on my sending for you. Here.
Huh?
Do you know what this is?
It's a Congressional Medal of Honor, isn't it?
Yes. Now, let's see what the inscription says. To George M. Cohan, for his contribution to the American spirit. I congratulate you, Mr. Cohan.
But are you sure there hasn't been some mistake?
Quite sure.
This medal's only for people who've given their lives to their country. I'm just a song and dance man. Everybody knows that.
A man may give his life to his country in many different ways, Mr. Cohan. Your songs were the symbol of the American spirit. Over there was just as powerful a weapon as any cannon, as any battleship we had in the First World War.
Mr. President, I'm just beginning to earn this medal. Quite a thing.
Well, it's the best material we could find, what with priorities and all.
Mm-hmm. Well, goodbye, Mr. President. My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My sister thanks you, and of course, I thank you. And don't worry about this country, Mr. President. Where else in the world today could a plain guy like me sit down and talk things over with the head man?
Well, that's about as good a definition of America as any I've ever heard. Is there something wrong, Mr. Cohan?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the same old trouble. Thought I heard a parade coming down Pennsylvania Avenue.
It is a parade. Don't you recognize the music?
I ought to.
The marching song of 1917 is a marching song of 1942. If I were Hitler, Hirohito, or Mussolini and heard that, I'd take one long look at history and start running.
James Cagney, Joan Leslie, Walter Houston, Gene Cagney, Richard Worth, S.C. Sochall, Charles Irwin, and Arthur Gilmore for your contributions to the opening show of our new season with the Lady Esther Screen Guild Players. Our sincere thanks, too, to Warner Brothers for permitting us to begin our season with highlights from Yankee Doodle Dandy, one of the year's greatest pictures, with words and music by George M. Cohan. 2 hours of grand movie which will be playing in your community. A picture which every American must see. And now, the star of our show and the newly elected president of Screen Actors Guild, James Cagney.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My sister thanks you. And on behalf of George M. Cohan, I thank you. His presence has been strongly felt by all of us here tonight, and we sincerely hope that his story has helped you to understand this great man who, through his songs, has helped our country to understand itself. I'm sure you'll be happy to know that all the benefits derived from this new series of Lady Esther Screen Guild plays go to the maintenance of the Motion Picture Relief Fund's country house for the members of the profession he loves and serves so well. Now, as president of the Screen Actors Guild, I would like to extend a warm welcome to Lady Esther, whose sponsorship makes these programs possible. We can assure you that this is going to be a great series, bringing to your loudspeakers the brightest stars in Hollywood in the most successful screenplays. Jack Benny, Robert Taylor, Barbara Stanwyck, Cary Grant, Rosalind Russell, Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Hedy Lamarr, to name just a few. Next week, for instance, the Lady Esther Screen Guild players will bring you Tyrone Power, Betty Grable, and John Sutton in A Yank in the RAF. Now, we want you to know that the stars who are contributing their time and services on this program have only one wish. And that wish is the hope that you listeners will enjoy the plays as much as we enjoy the opportunity of bringing them to you.
Wilson will soon be seen in Warner Brothers' Edge of Darkness, and Richard Wharf is now making assignment to Brittany at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Next Monday night, then, same time, same station, Lady Esther will present the Screen Guild Players in a Yank in the RAF, starring Tyrone Power with Betty Grable, John Sutton, and Pat O'Malley, with music by Wilbur Hatch. This is Truman Bradley saying good night for the Screen Guild Players and Lady Esther.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Sloan's Liniment presents Gangbusters. At war, marching against the underworld. From coast to coast, gangbusters, police, the G-men, our government agents, marching against the underworld.
Tonight, the case of a ghostly prisoner roaming the countryside unrecognized. A mountaineer farmer with a mysterious complex about burglary. A murder in a trailer camp. That's tonight's Gangbusters.
Now picture our setting as the special office turned over to Gangbusters by Commissioner Louis J. Valentine of the New York City Police for a proxy interview between Colonel H. Norman Schwarzkopf, United States Army, and Edgar Sims, Chief of Police, Alexandria, Virginia. Colonel Schwarzkopf.
Chief Sims, in these times of hidden enemies within our nation, tonight's case is very timely.
It is, Colonel Schwarzkopf, and tonight's case is a very exciting one. You make it sound very unusual, Colonel.
It is, Frank. About an unusually vicious criminal.
Well, Colonel, I don't want to seem to step over into your department, but I know a criminal who in his way is just as undesirable. I'm talking about muscular distress, and anyone who has felt that insidious sudden ache or pain knows just what I mean. Still, I'm happy to report this particular felon has met his match. For the past 50 years, Sloan's Liniment has been busy driving the soreness and stiffness out of aching, painful muscles, bringing quick and comforting relief to millions all over the world. Sloan's is the pat-on liniment that works like a heat treatment. All you do is pat on Sloan's. That's all. Just pat it on the sore place. And then like a heat treatment, that gentle warmth seems to get right at that knot of trouble in your stiff neck or sore back. If you happen a bottle of Sloan's on your medicine shelf right now, be sure to ask your druggist for Sloan's Liniment when you're doing your shopping tomorrow. All right, Colonel Schwarzkopf.
Well, Chief Sims, at what point do you intend to start tonight's case?
August 21st, 1938, at 7:15 that morning, in an outlying section of McCreary County in the Kentucky hills, Mrs. Godfrey was struggling with a dog in a farmyard.
Now, hold still. Open your mouth, Tiger, like a good dog. Lie still there now. Here, Tiger. Open your mouth.
Howdy, Mrs. Godfrey.
Oh.
What's the trouble?
Plenty's the trouble, Mr. Buchanan. Help me with my dog here, will you?
What's the matter?
He's been poisoned. Hold his jaws open while I pour this vinegar down his throat. Now, look out he don't bite you.
Yeah, I got him. But just vinegar won't help him. I don't reckon.
Why, vinegar's always good for poison, so I've heard. Quiet. Hold him, Mr. Buchanan. Knocked the vinegar bottle right out of my hand.
Look out. I gotta let him go. He's trying to bite me.
I never thought you had it in you to shoot even a dog, Mr. Buchanan.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Godfrey, but he was in such pain he'd have bitten both of us.
Poor Tiger. I guess we should have shot him ourselves when we first found him like this.
How long ago was that?
Half an hour ago, just before Mr. Godfrey left.
Where'd Mr. Godfrey go?
Sheriff. Somebody poisoned Tiger and then robbed the house while we was asleep.
That's right funny.
What?
I got my trailer parked over at the tourist camp in Pulaski County.
Well, what about it?
Well, just before I left the trailer camp, I heard 3 farmhouses over there were robbed last night. And in every case, the dogs were poisoned.
Well, we'll see what the sheriff has to say. Oh, I suppose, Mr. Buchanan, you've brought the wicker seat and willow basket I ordered last spring.
Yeah. I've got those things already woven for you, Mrs. Godfrey. They're right in the car, and I'll get them for you.
Attention, all Southeast Kentucky sheriffs and police. 8 houses burglarized last night while occupants were asleep. Watchdogs poisoned before each robbery.
So there you are, Mrs. Godfrey. Looking at cars yourself tonight, huh?
Oh, Mr. Buchanan, you're quite a stranger. You didn't stop by on your way north this spring.
No, I didn't, Mrs. Godfrey. This year I got some wonderful new baskets to sell.
Oh?
I wove every one of them myself. Mr. Godfrey home?
No. Seems like Mr. Godfrey's never home when you call, Mr. Buchanan.
Nada. I'm worried.
Well, Mr. Godfrey does go away from home a heap more than he used to. He ain't been the same since that time we got robbed last year.
How do you mean, ma'am?
Well, he swears he's going to catch the burglar who robbed us and kill him. He's left standing word with the sheriff to call him up any hour, night or day, when there's another burglary hereabouts.
You mean there's been more robberies since last year?
Oh, mercy me. One last night over in Wilton and another one night before last in 4 Acre. Mr. Godfrey says there'll be another one tonight, too.
Another tonight?
Mm.
How does your husband get all this advance information?
Seems like he just feels it in his bones. Like last night. Why, Mr. Godfrey was off for the sheriff's on a hunch almost 3/4 of an hour before the sheriff called him up about the Wilton robbery.
These robberies been going on regular in these parts, Mrs. Godfrey.
Yeah, they sure have. They come and go by spasms. Well, if you'll come up to the house, I'll look over your basket.
Here, let me carry those milk pails.
Oh, thank you.
But you get a little frightened, Mrs. Godfrey, staying alone so many nights while Mr. Godfrey's away?
No, Mr. Godfrey's going to fix up the farm with burglar alarms. We won't depend on a watchdog anymore.
Oh.
Attention, 3rd burglary in Southeast Kentucky on 3rd night in succession. Godfrey Farmhouse, pillaged 2nd time in 2 years. Watchdog poison.
Warning, new outbreak of robberies in Greene County, Tennessee. Same localities burglarized as were looted mysteriously last year at same time.
Colonel Schwarzkopf, the Cumberland Mountain region was up in arms by this time, but the wave of burglary subsided as quickly as it had arisen, just as it did the year before. Then another year passed.
And another epidemic of robberies broke out, Chief Sims?
Yes, but not in the same territory, Colonel Schwarzkopf. From July to November 1940, dwellings were burglarized through northern Virginia. In the office of Fairfax County, Virginia, Detective Henry McGarrity and Detective Lieutenant A.R. Stanley of the Alexandria City Police questioned one of the recent robbery victims.
Mr. Wilkins, just before your house was burglarized, there were a couple of strangers seen around your place.
Yes, Detective Stanley. The day before my house was robbed, a fellow came around and he tried to sell me some baskets and seat covers he'd woven.
Came around to sell you woven baskets and seat covers, eh?
Yes, Detective McGarrity, and the next day he came back again.
Returned the day after the robbery, huh?
Yes, sir. He said he thought that I'd told him I might think over buying some of his goods.
Did you ever see this man before, Mr. Wilkins?
No, but he sold one of my neighbors a willow bark basket. And he mentioned having a trailer over at the tourist camp by Alexandria.
What about the other man who came to see you, Mr. Wilkins?
Well, he acted kind of like a nut. He said his name was Godfrey, and he came from down in Kentucky. He said his own house had been robbed twice, and 2 of his watchdogs killed, and it got him so mad that he's been chasing around the country ever since, trying to catch the burglar who did it. He's supposed to be the best shot in Kentucky, too.
Didn't you tell me this Godfrey showed up at your house a few hours after the robbery?
Yes, sir.
Must have driven like the wind to get here from the Cumberland Mountains. It's over a 600-mile trip. The report on the robbery didn't go out on a teletype until nearly dawn, did it, Lieutenant Stanley?
5:25, to be exact.
A basket weaver at a trailer camp in Alexandria, and a mountain farmer from Kentucky, both showing up the day after Wilkins' house was burglarized. Something very strange here.
Chief Sims, I know this case is approaching its climax.
And the most stirring and spectacular one, too, Colonel Schwarzkopf.
Yes, but before you tell us about it, Frank Gallup would like to make a few predictions.
Well, predicting the future isn't as difficult as it sounds, Colonel Schwarzkopf. For instance, I can predict right now that hundreds of thousands of people are going to be plagued by muscular aches and pains during the next 6 or 7 months. How do I know? Because that time of year is known as liniment time, when folks everywhere count on Sloan's to avoid needless discomfort caused by simple muscular distress. Most of them are already prepared, with a full bottle of Sloan's liniment ready and waiting on the medicine shelf for the first twinge of pain. Now, for those of you who are not ready, I have this friendly tip. Get a bottle of Sloan's at your favorite drugstore as soon as possible. Muscular aches and pains, as you know only too well, strike suddenly, without warning. Overexertion on your job, a slight accident, or overexposure to blustery wind and rain often results in stiff, sore muscles that make your life miserable. When you have a bottle of dependable Sloan's liniment handy, though, you can expect quick and comforting relief in just about a jiffy. Sloan's, you know, is the pat-on liniment. That's all you do, just pat it on the sore place. And like a heat treatment, Sloan's goes right to work, helping to loosen and relax those tight muscles. So make sure you have a bottle of Sloan's liniment on your medicine shelf at all times. Well, Colonel Schwarzkopf, I've finished with my predictions. What did Lieutenant Stanley find in that trailer camp?
I was just going to ask that question of Chief Sims myself, Frank. Chief Sims, did Lieutenant Stanley and Detective McGarrity go to the trailer camp at Alexandria, Virginia?
Yes, Colonel Schwarzkopf. But the basket weaver, Buchanan, whom they were looking for, had left. The other campers told the investigators Buchanan had set off with his trailer for the Cumberland Gap. The Virginia police thereupon got in touch with Middlesbrough's captain of police, Barton.
Wallace, Deputy Kane.
Yes, Captain Barton? Go on me, Captain Barton.
Yes, here's a flash from the Virginia police. They want us to pick up Clyde Buchanan for questioning. His trailer's parked at the trailer camp just outside of Middlesbrough here.
Why, I've known Clyde Buchanan all my life, Captain Barton. Why do you suppose the Virginia police want Buchanan for questions?
Yeah, I am puzzled. Clyde Buchanan's a fine man. But we'd better go out to the trailer camp and see him. Yeah, that's Buchanan's trailer right at the end of this lane.
Look, Captain Barton. Buchanan's coming out to meet us.
Hello, Sheriff Wallace.
Captain Barton?
Lieutenant.
What brings you gents out here?
Well, Clyde, to tell you the truth, we've come to see you.
Me? What for?
Well, the Virginia police seem to think you've had something to do with some robberies.
You don't mean you're arresting me? Well, that's the most... There's some kind of mistake here. All right, I'll go with you and straighten it out. Just wait till I get a hat and coat.
Just a minute, Clyde. You got a gun on you?
I always carry a gun. You know that. Driving nights and stopping in lonely places sometimes like I do.
Well, you'd better give us the gun, Buchanan.
Sure.
I'll give you that gun, all right. You shot the sheriff. Stop! Halt, Buchanan! You stop, Captain. Where you are. I'm shooting you too, Deputy. Not if I get you first.
You're crazy trying to shoot it out with me, Deputy. I shot the gun right out of your hand. Now I'm finishing the job.
Oh, no. Your gun's empty.
The sheriff's safe.
Hold him! Get Buchanan! There he goes! Into those cowboys! Target him fire! Come out! Sheriff Wallace, you're on him! Take out! Come back here,
Who's in charge here?
I am. I'm County Attorney Fred Miller.
Well, I'm Detective McGarrity from Fairfax County, Virginia. We're the ones who sent you the call that we want Buchanan for questioning.
I know. Now we want him for murder.
Yes, so I've heard.
If it's burglary evidence you're looking for, you'll find plenty in Buchanan's trailer over there. Chloroform, several different kinds of poison, and more money than a man could honestly make weaving baskets.
What about this fellow Godfrey? His action struck us as suspicious, too.
Godfrey?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Farmer Godfrey?
That's right.
Well, he's innocent, but I don't know how long he's going to be.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
They tell me Godfrey's set off without authority as a one-man posse to track Buchanan down by himself. Now, if Godfrey does catch him, he'll kill him. He's cracked on the subject.
When are you starting after Buchanan?
Right away. We're giving the bloodhounds a scent now. Come on along if you like.
Oh, thanks.
Here you are, boy. Take a good smell of this.
What's that? That's part of one of Buchanan's shirts. You take another sniff, boy. That's it. Say, this dog don't look big enough to travel with a pack. He's still a pup. Never been out before, but this case will give him training. He's cunning little thing. Here you are, puppy. Come on now, sniff again. That's a good little puppy. All ready, men? All right, let the hounds off the leashes. That's funny, Miller. The hounds led us right up this mountain trail. Now they're running around in circles again. They've lost the scent, McGarity. Buchanan knows his mountains and his dogs. He's crossed his high and dry railroad bed so the wind would carry off his scent. Well, I'd be... Say, where's the little fella? Little fella? Yeah, the puppy. Well, George, you're right. Where is he? Hip up. Here, Tiny. Come on, Tiny. Go get him, boys. Go find your little pal. Here, Tiny. Come on, pup. Look, there goes one of the hounds down that ravine. After him, boys. Go get him. They picked up Buchanan's trail again, I guess. They picked up something fresh, but they don't act as though they were on Buchanan's trail. Come on. Right. Hey, men, follow us. Well, here's the bottom of the valley. Now, where are the hounds? Listen. See, they found something over there in that thicket. What's that? Come on, there's somebody in there. Hello! Posse! Surround that thicket! Let's go, McGarry. Right.
Throw your dogs off, mister.
All right, down, boys. Down, quiet. All right, youngster, climb down out of that tree. Hey, this young fella's hurt. He's got a big gash on his head.
No, I'm all right now.
What happened, young fella?
I don't know. I was hunting squirrels, and all of a sudden something hit me on the head. When I came to, my rifle and squirrels were gone. There was a little dog sniffing a piece of raw meat, and then the whole pack came along. A little dog? Where? Well, right over there, where the big hounds are.
All right, go away, boys. Go away. Get away from that meat. Dead. That poor little pup. Yes. Buchanan must have had a vial of poison on him and poisoned this piece of squirrel meat to throw the hounds off again. That dirty yellow skunk. He was a good hound. He's been killed on his first hunt. But he set us back on that killer's trail. Buchanan can't be very far away.
Say, if you fellas are a posse, I'd like to go along with you. I'd like my rifle back.
Great Scott, I'd forgotten that. Buchanan has this boy's rifle now. Son, you better stay behind. We'll bring your rifle back for you. And Buchanan, dead or alive. Come on, hounds, sniff. Take another smell of this shirt. Good smell. That's it. Now, don't lose the scent again. All right, that's enough. Now, go find him. Go find the rat who killed your little pal. Well, that's where Buchanan went, all right, McGarity. Dogs lost the trail again at the foot of this cliff. That means that Buchanan must have climbed up the cliff. But he never could reach the top, Miller. No, he's most likely in that cave halfway up with a crevice above it. We'll just wait till the rest of the posse have taken their position.
Come down out of there, Buchanan. You don't, I'll go up and get you.
Who's that? That wasn't one of our posse. It's Farmer Godfrey back of that rock.
Godfrey?
Yes. You got to stop him from committing murder. Hey, Godfrey, keep out of this.
I'll keep out of nothing. I'm going to get that killer Buchanan.
I'll have to go over there and stop him. Yeah, but you'll expose yourself to Buchanan if you do. If Buchanan's held his fire so far, that's a chance I'll have to take. You stay here and keep that cave covered. Right. You're a fool, Attorney Miller. Buchanan might have picked you off crawling over here like that. You look here, Godfrey. Buchanan's saving his fire till it means something. It's more than you've been doing.
I'll shoot it out Buchanan any day. I'll stand in the open and let him stay in that cave and still knock the finger off his trigger when I see his gun flash. He's robbed my home twice, and he's a killer.
You'll have to have mighty good eyesight, Godfrey, to see a gun flash up in that dark cave.
I ain't fixing to stay here.
I'm going up after Buchanan right now.
You move 1 foot beyond this rock, and I'll shoot you.
Why, that snake in a grass Buchanan robbed my house twice, poisoned 2 of my dogs. And you'll shoot me if I go after him. What kind of law is that?
It's law and order, Godfrey. You can't take the law into your own hands. That's my duty.
Well, what are you planning to do?
I'm going to make a dash for that boulder up ahead. I'm going up after Buchanan myself.
Well, all right. I'll hold my fire. But if Buchanan gets you, I won't hold off any longer.
All right, that's a promise, Godfrey. Wish me luck. Garrity, well, what are you doing here? I thought I told you to stay back.
I made a dash for this rock just the same as you did, Miller.
We'll be mighty lucky if he doesn't get one of us. Buchanan, we know you're up in that cave. You'd better surrender, Buchanan.
Buchanan isn't biting.
I'll try once more. Come down, Buchanan, or we're coming up for you.
That got a response all right. That bullet came within a split inch of my ear.
That was a warning that Buchanan doesn't intend to be taken alive.
Hey, look, there he goes, peeping out of the cave.
Making for the crevice above, we'll have a better cover. Well, it's now or never.
You got him, Miller.
Yes,
You got him.
Yes, he's falling, and he'll land right here at our feet.
Well, there he is. Don't look much like a killer now. That's the end of Buchanan.
And the end of the mystery of poisoned dogs and burglaries in Kentucky.
Colonel Schwarzkopf, the final revelation that widely respected Clyde Buchanan had been the secret scourge of 3 states was a shock to the countryside.
I can understand that, Chief Sim. He was a man who really led a double life.
Colonel Schwarzkopf, this may surprise you, but Sloan's liniment leads a double life, too. Men and women with tough jobs now keep a bottle of Sloan's in their lockers at plants and factories, as well as on the medicine shelves at home. You see, Sloan's is so easy to use that all you need are a few minutes at lunchtime or during a rest period. With Sloan's, there's no need for hard, painful massaging. All you have to do is tap Sloan's liniment on, and then relax for a while. And as you do, Sloan's penetrating warmth goes to work like a heat treatment. While almost no time at all, Sloan's helps you find quick and comforting relief. Don't let the suffering caused by simple muscular aches and pains slow you down. Let Sloan's help you maintain the top speed all America is aiming for. The top speed America needs in every job. Your job. Protect yourself from the stiffness and soreness that so frequently follows accident, overexertion, or overexposure to bad weather. Pick up a bottle of Sloan's liniment tomorrow on the way down to work, and keep it in your locker always. And now, Gangbusters Clues. Wanted, most dangerous and ruthless criminals at large today. Number 1.
Basil Hugh Bangard, alias the Owl, 42, 5 feet 8 inches, 156 pounds, graying chestnut hair, blue-gray eyes, distinguishing marks, hair comes to arrow points, bald, left and right front. Hair comes to arrow points, bald, left and right front. May wear toupee to cover this. Wrinkles across forehead. Wrinkles across forehead. Raised scar upper right chin. Raised scar upper right chin. Mole left cheek. Mole on left cheek. Eyes have owl-like appearance. Eyes have owl-like appearance. May wear glasses to cover owl-like eyes. May wear hat or toupee to cover bald spots front of head. May wear glasses to cover owl-like eyes.
Urgently wanted criminal number 2.
Roger Toohey, 44, 5 feet 5 3/4 inches, 139 pounds, graying chestnut hair, blue eyes, distinguishing marks, hawk-like nose turned to left, hawk-like nose turned to left, Mole below right side of nose. Mole below right side of nose. Prominent lump left side of neck. Prominent lump left side of neck. Lower lip turns under. Lower lip turns under. Amputated right thumb tip. Right thumb tip amputated. May wear gloves to cover this defect.
Urgently wanted criminal number 3.
Matthew Nelson, 40, 5 feet 10 3/4 inches, 149 pounds, chestnut hair, scar right forehead, deep set grayish blue eyes, protruding chin, repeating, scar right forehead, deep set grayish blue eyes, protruding chin.
Urgently wanted criminal number 4.
James O'Connor, 36, 5 feet 5 3/4 inches, 157 pounds, dark wavy hair, yellow-gray eyes, gunshot wound just above left elbow, left arm stiffened, repeating, left arm stiffened from effects of gunshot wound above elbow.
Urgently wanted criminal number 5.
William Stewart, 45, 6 feet 1/2 inch, 179 pounds, dark graying hair, long straight nose, greenish gray eyes, round receding chin, has upper plate of false teeth, lower bridge of false teeth, mole, upper left part of head, scar, tip left index finger, repeating, upper plate of false teeth, lower bridge of false teeth, mole, upper left part of head, scar, tip left index finger.
Urgently wanted criminal number 6.
St. Clair McInerney, 31, 5 feet 9 1/2 inches, 159 pounds, wavy brown hair, short nose, yellow slate eyes, face hip on it, face heavy brows, scar base of left thumb, scar base of left thumb.
These subjects wanted for recent escape, Statesville Penitentiary, Joliet, Illinois. Governor, State of Illinois, has offered reward $1,000 for information leading to apprehension or delivery each these men to Statesville Penitentiary. Warning, these men reported armed and extremely dangerous. These men armed and extremely dangerous.
If you have any information concerning these clues, notify your local police, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or Gangbusters at once. And now, here's what Philip H. Lord has planned for next week.
Gangbusters friends, next week for Sloan's Liniment, the startling case of the Wolverine, the slinking terror of the Northland who stole out of the giant forests to strike with snarling savagery, midnight vigil in a deserted railroad station, and the eerie voice that came over the telephone, the paper napkin that led to the lonely snowbound cabin, then the race between the thundering express train and the police on a handcar in a desperate attempt to capture the Wolverine.
That's next week's Sloan's Liniment presentation of Gangbusters.
Gangbusters is a Philip H. Lord production which has originated in New York.
You just heard at the end of Gangbusters the story of the escaped fugitives from Stateville outside of Chicago. Well, you can follow that story through the newspapers on our Patreon page, World War II on the Air and in Print. My name is Henry Chop. Be sure to visit us next week when we will listen to Lights Out, Jubilee, Vic and Sage, CBS News, and Dark Destiny. There's a couple of horror programs in the mix for your spooky Halloween pleasure. Until then, good night. God bless.
This changing world, this changing scene, where is it taking us? What does it mean? As long as we're certain of each other, we know we don't have to be afraid. These changing times we rise above. We have no time for them. We have our love, and love is the only thing that still remains the same through all this changing world.
Determined by your Hit Parade survey, which checks the bestsellers in sheet music and phonograph records, the songs most heard on the air, and the songs most played on the automatic coin machines. An accurate, authentic tabulation of America's taste in popular music. Your Hit Parade.
I'm Henry Chop with a pocket full of nickels for the Hit Parade jukebox. Let's count them down. We have 4 songs leaving the chart this week. When the Lights Go On Again All Over the World by Vaughn Monroe, which was number 10 last week. He's My Guy by Harry James, which was number 9 last week. He Wears a Pair of Silver Wings, a former number 1 song by Kay Kaiser, and that was number 8 last week. And Manhattan Serenade by Tommy Dorsey, which was number 5. Let's give these a listen.
Go on again all over the world, and the boys are home again all over the world, and rain or snow is all that may fall from the skies above. A kiss won't mean goodbye, but hello to love. When the lights go on again all over the world, and the ships will sail again all over the world. Then we'll have time for things like wedding rings, and free hearts will sing when the lights go on again all over the world.
what he does, 'cause he's my guy. I guess he always was. He's careless about me. I don't think he tries. But once in a while he'll hug me and smile, and I can see me in his eyes. Oh, he's my guy. I know he'll always be, and I will try to keep him loving me. However he wants me, I'm his until the end. For nobody knows better than I that he's my guy. For nobody knows better than I that he's my guy.
Although some people say he's just a crazy guy, to her he means a million other things. For he's the one who taught that happy heart of hers to fly. He wears a pair of silver wings. And though it's pretty tough, the job he does above, why, she wouldn't have him change it for a king. An ordinary fellow in the uniform she loves, he wears a pair of silver wings. She's so full of pride when they go walking. Every time he's home on leave, he with those wings on his tunic, and she with her heart on her sleeve. But when she's left alone and they are far apart, she sometimes wonders what tomorrow brings. For she adores that crazy guy who taught her happy heart to wear a pair of silver wings. For she adores that crazy guy who taught her happy heart to
That night in Manhattan was the start of it. We lived it and we loved every part of it. The glow of moonlight in the park, the lights that spell your name, the autumn breeze that fanned the spark that set our hearts aflame. Our kiss was a sky ride to the highest stars. We made it without touching the handlebars. And I gave you my love to the melody of the music, the madness that made our Manhattan serenade. Our Manhattan serenade.
Our number 10 song was not on the chart last week, but it was last on October 10th. Here is the Glenn Miller Orchestra with Ray Eberly on the vocals and At Last.
At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over, and life is like a song. At last, the skies above are blue. My heart was wrapped in clover the night I looked at you. I found a dream that I can speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill I've never known. You smiled, and then the spell was cast, and here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last.
Kay Kaiser debuts at number 9 this week with the Glee Club on the vocals and Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition.
politicians. Praise the Lord, we're all between perdition and the deep blue sea.
If the sky pilot said it, you gotta give him credit, for a son of a gunner was he.
Shouting praise the Lord, we're on a mighty mission. All aboard, we ain't a-going fishing. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay free. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay free. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay.
Taking a big 4-point hit this week, dropping from number 4 to number 8, is Sammy Kaye and the orchestra with Don Cornell, who recently joined the Army. Don Cornell, Private Don Cornell, and I Left My Heart at the Stage Door Canteen.
I left my heart at the stage door canteen.
This cute story of Army life romance by Don Cornell.
I left my heart at the stage door canteen. I left it there with a girl named Eileen. I kept her serving donuts till all she had were gone. I sat there dunking donuts till she caught on. I must go back to the Army routine. And every doughboy knows what that will mean. A soldier boy without a heart has 2 strikes on him from the start. And my heart's at the stage door canteen.
Looky, looky, it's a two-set by Sammy Kaye and his orchestra. This time he has Nancy Norman on the vocals. This record comes in at number 7. It was off the chart last week, but it was on October 3rd. Here is Wonder When My Baby's Coming Home.
Haven't seen a sunny day ever since you went away. Wonder when my baby's coming home. I haven't slept a wink at night, worrying if he's alright. Wonder when my baby's coming home. Oh, I really can't help crying. I'm so hungry for his caress. Though I promised I wouldn't be crying, I'm not brave enough, I guess. Home will be a lonely place till I kiss that funny face. Wonder when my baby's coming home. Home will be a lonely place till I kiss that funny face. Wonder when my baby coming home.
Our number 6 record took a 1-month break from the chart. It was last on September 19th. Here is Glenn Miller and the orchestra with Skip Nelson on the vocals and Dearly Beloved.
Dearly beloved, how clearly I see somewhere in heaven you were fashioned for me. Angel eyes knew you. Angel voices led me to you. Nothing could save me. Fate gave me a sign. I know that I'll be yours come shower or shine. So I say merely, be mine. Nothing could save me, fate gave me a sign. I know that I'll be yours come shower or shine. So I say, dearly beloved, be mine.
Tonight we are flashing back to June 1937. The Battle of Bilbao started in the Spanish Civil War, and Joe Louis knocked out James Braddock in Chicago to win the world's heavyweight boxing crown. Everywhere on the radio, you heard this number one song by Guy Lombardo with Carmen Lombardo singing September in the Rain.
The leaves of brown came tumbling down, remember, in September, in the rain. The sun went out just like a dying ember that September in the rain. To every word of love I heard you whisper, the raindrops seemed to play a sweet refrain. Though spring is here, to me it's still September, that September in the rain.
Into the top 5 now, dropping to number 5 from the number 2 position is Bing Crosby with Be Careful It's My Heart.
Be careful,
It's my heart. It's not my watch you're holding, it's my heart. It's not the note I sent you that you quickly burned. It's not the book I lent you that you never returned. Remember, it's my heart, the heart with which so willingly I part. It's yours to take, to keep or break, but please, before you start, be careful. It's my heart. It's not the note I sent you that you quickly burned. It's not the book I lent you that you never returned. Remember, it's my heart, the heart with which so willingly I part. It's yours to take, to keep or break, but please, before you start, be careful. It's my heart.
Moving up 2 places from number 6 last week to number 4 this week, it's Glenn Miller and the orchestra with Ray Eberly and the Modern Airs on the vocals and Serenade in Blue.
Serenade in blue. I'm somewhere in another world alone with you, sharing all the joys we used to know. Many moons ago. Once again your face comes back to me, just like the theme of some forgotten melody in the album of my memory. Serenade like only yesterday. A small cafe, a crowded floor,
and as we dance the night away, I hear you say forevermore.
And then the song became a sigh, forevermore became goodbye.
But you remain in my heart, so
tell me, darling, is there still a spark, or only lonely ashes of the flame we knew?
Should I go on whistling in the dark,
serenading blue?
Looky, looky, it's a two-set from Glenn Miller and the orchestra. It's holding steady at number 3. This time he has Tex Beneke, Marion Hutton, and the Modernaires on the vocals. Here is Kalamazoo.
I got a gal
in Kalamazoo.
Don't wanna boast, but I know she's the toast
of Kalamazoo. Zoo, 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 zoo.
Years have gone by.
My, how she grew.
I liked her looks when I carried her books
in Kalamazoo. Zoo, zoo, zoo.
I'm gonna send a wire, hopping on a flyer,
leaving today.
Am I dreaming? I can hear her screaming.
Hiya, Mr. Jackson, everything's okay. A-L-A-M-A-C-O.
Oh, what a girl!
A real pimperoo.
I'll make my bid for that freckle-faced kid I'm hurrying to.
I'm going to Michigan to see the sweetest girl
in Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo.
K-A-L-A-M-A-Z-O. What a gal,
a real pimperoo. We're going to Michigan to see the sweetest gal in Kalamazoo. Zoo, 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 zoo.
Last week's number 7 song takes a big leap in the charts to the number 2 position. Here is White Christmas by Bing Crosby.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas,
like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas,
just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten
and children listen
to hear
those sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write.
May your days
be merry and bright,
and may all your Christmases be
And holding the number one position for the second week in a row, it's Charlie Spivak and the orchestra with Gary Stevens on the vocals and My Devotion.
endless and deep as the ocean, and like a star shining from afar, immense, forever the same. My devotion is not just a sudden emotion. It will be constantly burning, and your love will kindle a flame. What a sweet beginning to the dream I I planned. All I own is yours alone. Your wish is my command. And this sensation was never a mere fascination. Here in my heart one sweet day it started. Then with time it grew, my devotion to you.
And that's the Your Hit Parade Jukebox for another week, the week ending October 24th, 1942. My name is Henry Chap. So long for a while.
So long for a while.
That's all the songs for a while. So long to your hearing.